unlimited intervention by American military overseas against people that don't actually threaten us. I feel like this has all been one big operation, but we'll move on. By the way, guys, I need a clock on my screen here. Global energy costs soar as Iran crisis disrupts shipping, oil, and gas production. Global oil and gas prices jumped on Tuesday as the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran halted energy exports from the Middle East, and Iran attacking ships and energy facilities, closing navigation in the Gulf, and forcing production stoppages from Qatar to Iraq. We'll get back into that, of course, because it's not just the physical damage that the war will be bringing, it's the economic destruction as well. Trump to Politico, he says, quote, Iran is running out of launchers. So we'll get into who's running out of what here in just a second. He says Iran is running out of launchers. However, we are talking about reorganizing our THAAD missile systems, including removing ones from South Korea in order to relocate them to the Middle East. As it turns out, it's our defensive missile batteries that are not sufficient to handle the situation. IDF forces strike Iran Supreme Council as group gathers to choose successor to the late Ayatollah. So they apparently bombed the council that is there to choose who will be the supreme leader of Iran next. Finally, quote, depart now. U.S. tells its citizens to urgently leave almost all Middle East countries, including Israel. Just saying, get out. We're not going to help you. Make your own, way out of the country and do it fast because things are about to go down. So we're just completely losing control of the situation, and that's bad. We'll be right back.
I'm not an influencer, by the way. I'm a patriot and a journalist and a pundit and an analysis and a futurist. Loves God. Influencer comes from the time of Plato and Aristotle and Socrates. And influencers are people that use rhetoric without facts and reality and logic to convince dumb people. So when the globals call you all influencers and you go, yeah, I'm an influencer. It shows how stupid you are. Stop calling yourselves influencers. I'm a philosopher. I'm a warrior. I'm a game changer. I'm a historian. I'm a fighter. I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I got red blood. It's pumping in my big heart fast. I like life and freedom and justice. I like women. I like red meat. I like guns. I like sunsets and puppy dogs. And ladies of the night. To quote Waylon Jennings.
You're watching The War Room with your host, Harrison Smith. Watch it live right now on X.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is The War Room. I'm your host, Harrison Smith, covering, of course, the war in Iran, the war on Iran. And we showed the video yesterday, basically as soon as it came out, reacted to it live, I think, with Brandon Weichert, of Marco Rubio basically admitting that Israel forced us into this. I should remove the word basically. He admitted that Israel forced us into this in no uncertain terms. And that claim has been reiterated multiple times by multiple people. Now they're kind of trying to walk this back. This whole thing is crazy. And part of me is like, is QAnon real? Like, things are so crazy, I'm starting to believe in QAnon. That's how bad things are getting at this point, folks. I should need to tell you, QAnon is not real. But is it? I don't know. Why would Marco Rubio go out and say that essentially we got strong-armed into this by Israel? Why would he say that? Like, I've never been a QAnon person, though. Just wait, and we're saving Israel for last, and there's a plan, and the White House or patriots are in control. I've never believed that, but maybe just out of coincidence, maybe just I don't know, serendipitously, like it just worked out this way. That Trump and his administration is so corrupt when it comes to Israel, so beholden to Israel, that they come out and admit it, that it like becomes an issue in the mainstream because they just can't help themselves to be like, yeah, we did this for Israel. We love Israel, 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 Israel. And so now people are like, okay, well, this is a problem then. So yeah, I'm not saying it's on purpose. I'm just saying it's weird. It's bizarre that Marco Rubio and the Trump administration as a whole would be so beholden to Israel that they come out and admit it and start this whole firestorm. So I got a bunch of videos to play when it comes to the blame game, as we're calling it. This is our blame game segment of the show. And let's go ahead and start with Marco Rubio, if we have that. I don't know if we do. The good thing is we have so very many people blaming so very many different things. Let's go to... Oh my God, I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I literally don't even know where to begin, because you also have Steve Witkoff coming out and saying, actually, he told us that they have 11 nuclear bombs or have enough material to make 11 nuclear bombs. So essentially it's gone from we can't let them have nukes to, okay, we bombed their nuclear facilities. That's over and done with. But actually now it's about their ballistic missiles. But actually now it's about the proxy armies that they run. So we have to have economic sanctions on them. Oh, look, the economic sanctions have led to riots and protests in Iran. Now we're in support of the Iranian protesters. We don't want a regime change, but the regime does need to change. And this has nothing to do with nukes. This is about the threat they pose to America, because they've been at war with us for 45, 47 years already. They've killed thousands of American citizens. When, where, don't ask. It doesn't matter. Just believe. 1,000 American citizens have been killed by Iran, and you have to believe that. Stop asking for details. And now we're back to they have nukes. Actually, they have 11 nukes, and they told us that they did, and that's why we're having to do this. I mean, the whole thing is just, convoluted, doesn't even begin to describe it. So I'm trying to, how do we even make our way through this utter nonsense? So we already have Marco Rubio coming out and saying in no uncertain terms, we had to do this because Israel was going to attack. Once Israel attacked, American bases were going to come under attack. We didn't want to sit there like sitting ducks, so then we decided to preempt the preemptive attack. To stop the preemptive attack.
What do you think I can do for you right now?
None of which makes any sense.
What is feasible?
And yet is been repeated a few times. So let's go to clip number 8 here. This is Tom Cotton, Senator Tom Cotton, talking about why we went to this war, and basically reiterating exactly what Marco Rubio said.
Israel faced an existential risk, and they were prepared to strike Iran alone. If that happened, Iran was very likely to target our troops. That may address the question of why now? Why not 2 weeks ago? Why not 2 months from now? The president, though, did not want to put our troops in harm's way.
So Wall Street Journal has the story, Trump's case for war with Iran faces growing scrutiny. That's one way of putting it. The Trump administration, in pressing its case for war with Iran, has made a number of accusations about the regime's threats to its neighbors, U.S. troops, and even the American homeland itself. However, U.S. officials and lawmakers with access to classified information, along with experts who have spent their careers poring over public data and government reports, say the administration's assertions are incomplete, unsubstantiated, or flat out wrong. But they do keep insisting that this is the case. They do keep insisting that this is absolutely the reason it's happening. Again, it is beyond absurd where we are at this point. Let's go to clip number 6, because this is Senator Angus King, who basically calls out Marco Rubio for making this statement. And I hate to side with the Democrats. We're going to see a couple clips of Democrats. They're right on this. They're absolutely right. And I don't trust them necessarily. I think they're using this for their own personal political gain, but whatever. As long as it contributes to stopping us going into greater conflict and eventually World War III with Iran, I'm for it. So let's go now to clip 6, Senator Angus King.
Yesterday, Secretary Rubio told us why now. In a stunning statement, we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched these attacks, we would suffer higher casualties. Have we now delegated the most solemn decision that can be made in our society, the decision to go to war to another country? That's the implication, the breathtaking implication of Secretary Rubio's statement, which to me is the only explanation I've seen as to why this action was taken when it was. There were no objective facts on the ground that said this is something we have to do now. There were no missiles being loaded on launchers. There was not a nuclear bomb being rolled out.
Oh, you gotta go.
I'd like some response on policy. Is now the policy of the United States that we're going to be taken into a war by the prime minister of another country?
Well, sir, what I would say is, and I think Secretary Higgs said and General Kane went into this yesterday, that it was, and the president has talked about this as well, is the very rapid buildup and reconstitution of Iran's ballistic missile, cruise missile, one-way attack.
That's been going on for some time. But, the question is, why was it Sunday?
Well, I think there was a perception that this threat has been manifest. As the president said, they've been killing Americans for 47 years, and this is something where we can see this is going, and they're going to be able to have this kind of missile shield.
So do you dispute Secretary Rubio's statement? I think Secretary Rubio inadvertently told the truth the other day, that this was driven by Benjamin Netanyahu, and here we are in a major conflict. Do you not agree that seems to be the precipitating factor?
Well, I agree with you that Secretary Rubio told the truth. I wouldn't characterize his remarks. They stand for his. I know he's spoken a lot. The remarks I've seen of his, the president, the vice president, the Secretary of War, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, focus on the buildup of Iran's conventional.
I find it very disturbing that you're committing this nation to war based upon a decision by even though a staunch ally, and I'm a supporter of Israel, but I don't think anybody should drive our decision to go to war. But the interest of the United States.
The president made our decision. That's my understanding.
Sir?
Our understanding of the Department of War. The president made our decision.
Okay, so then again, I think Senator Angus King is in the right there. It sounds an awful lot like we're letting the actions of a foreign state dictate whether or not we go to war. I mean, yeah, that's actually this is actually like a major problem. Like, can we get to the heart of it and say, like, Israel's influence is the problem here? The Israeli influence in America is pernicious and dangerous and unhelpful and has to be rooted out. Like, I think we need to get to the heart of the issue. It's Israeli influence in America that has made us choose all sorts of horrible things for America, that have forced us into positions. Apparently, they have the ability to force us to go to war, force us to all sorts of nonsensical, damaging things to ourselves. Let's go to clip number 4. Here's another Democrat representative, Representative Crow, again, telling the truth here about whether or not there was an imminent threat. Let's watch.
This is a discussion that has not been had because he bypassed Congress. The accountability.
A president has the right to take military action for 60 days.
If there's an imminent threat, and there is no imminent threat. Let me
well,
be
that
really
might be your opinion.
That's your opinion. I sit on the Armed Services and the Intelligence Committee.
Yeah.
If there are imminent threats, they have an obligation to tell us about it. I have seen no imminent threat. And even people within the administration have denied that there's an imminent threat. So listen, a president.
So again, what was the imminent threat? The imminent threat was that Israel would attack Iran, and then Iran would attack back. We have no ability to restrain Israel or to contact Iran and say, hey, Israel's doing this on their own, don't blame us. No, this was all coordinated. It was coordinated. It happened in collaboration with one another. I mean, this was not unplanned or a surprise. I think this was happening in very close cooperation between Israel and America. I just think Israel was leading the dance, as it were. Here's where it gets crazy. Let's go to clip number 10 here. This is Steve Witkoff, the negotiator for America and Israel, I guess, against Iran. Here's what he says about, how the talks broke down. This is like the craziest retcon you could possibly imagine. Let's watch.
% materials, Sean, can be brought to 90%. That's weapons grade, in roughly 1 week, maybe 10 days at the outside. The 20% can be brought to weapons grade inside of 3 to 4 weeks. And let me say this, because I forgot this small little detail. In that first meeting, both the Iranian negotiators said to us directly, with no shame, that they controlled 460 kilograms of 60%, and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance. So they were proud of it. They were proud that they had evaded all sorts of oversight protocols to get to a place where they could deliver 11 nuclear bombs.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that in the slightest. It seems like the most ridiculous, again, retcon, right? Going back and going, oh, shoot, nobody's fallen for the... I mean, they aren't even really coming out with lies, but it's like, all right, the ballistic missile thing is not really hitting people. The whole, like, well, we had to attack because we were going to be attacked thing's not really selling it. So it seems like they just, like, tried a bunch of excuses and they're just like, yeah, screw it, go back to nuclear weapons. Yeah, just say they have 11. Let's say 11 nuclear. They have 11 nuclear weapons, guys. I mean, so obviously we had to attack because they had 11 nuclear weapons. I mean, do we really think that the Iranians went into the meeting with Steve Witkoff and were just apropos of nothing? We just felt like bragging. We're just like, that we have 11. You know, we have enough material for 11 nuclear weapons. We can create nuclear weapons at any point. So, guess you want to go to war with us now? Like, why would they say that? That makes no sense. It just feels ridiculous. It feels like the most ridiculous.
Where the fuck is the other phone at?
Backwards compatible excuse you could ever imagine. It's like, at least when we went into Iraq, they laid out the weapons of mass destruction lie before we went in. In this case, we went in, and now they're scrambling to backfill the excuse. No, actually, they totally told us that they had 11 nuclear weapons. They said it. Gee, those crazy Iranians, right? They must be crazy if they act like this. It really is beyond ridiculous. Let's go to that Rubio clip. So here's Rubio again laying it out. No uncertain terms, no uncertain words. This is the reality. Let's watch.
The States conducted this operation with a clear goal in mind. I haven't got a chance to see a lot of reporting. I don't understand what the confusion is. Let me explain it to you, and I'll do it once again as clearly as possible. Perhaps you'll report it that way. The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. I'll leave it to the Pentagon and the Department of War to discuss the tactics behind that and the progress that's being made. That is the clear objective of this mission. The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true because, in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't.
So there you go. Again, he lays it out perfectly clear. Like, this wasn't a misspeaking incident. This wasn't, us reading into it what he didn't say. No, he said it very clear there. Israel is going to attack Iran, and if they did, then Iran would attack us. So therefore, we attacked Iran first to preempt the preemptive strike that was in response to Israel's preemptive strike. I mean, no wonder people are pissed. No wonder people are angry at this. No wonder the headline is Fury as Marco Rubio admits Israel forced U.S. into war with Iran. Now, this has been denied by other people. We can go to clip number 2 here. This is Benjamin Netanyahu being asked about this with Sean Hannity. Let's call him Mike Hannity. With old Mike Hannity yesterday. And there are rumors going around. I mean, the rumors that I'm hearing, Kim.com posted about this and others basically saying from insider sources of the White House that Trump is very angry about how things are going, was yelling at Pete Hegseth. And they said that Trump sort of forced Netanyahu to go on Fox, was going, this isn't going well. I need Netanyahu to make the case to the American people. and sent him to go on Hannity. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was odd that you had Trump yesterday saying everybody has to tune in to Netanyahu at 9. Again, this whole thing is just not being handled with the tact that Trump almost always displays with this type of public relations situation. Here's Benjamin Netanyahu being asked if he forced America's hand. Let's watch.
There are people that say, well, the prime minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. And as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything, number one, but I want to get your reaction to that.
An evil
well, you're right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world. He does what he thinks is right for America. He does also what he thinks is right for future generations. And frankly, we're partners in that effort because I've devoted my life to securing the life of the one and only Jewish state. And believe me, it's been a struggle. I've known the pangs of war. I lost a brother in war and in battle. I myself fought terrorists and was wounded in liberating hostages from a hijacked plane. I held a fellow soldier in my arms when I was 18, and he died in my arms. I know the cost of war, but I know sometimes that war is necessary to protect us from the people who would destroy us. And that's what free societies have to understand.
It's weird how good Benjamin Netanyahu is at this type of thing. Because you got to admit he's good. I mean, you don't have to believe him. You can understand that he's full of crap. Like, he has this ability to just answer completely different questions than were asked. Sir, you were asked about whether whether Israel forced America into this, whether Israel's actions sort of made it a foregone conclusion that America would have to get involved because they would suffer. That was the question asked. You just spent a minute and a half talking about, I've been to war. I know the struggles of war. It's like, okay, what? No, did you force America or not? But he also, it's like he has these certain things that he says, and we've noticed this before, right? Whenever he's asked about anti-Semitism or anything else, when he was asked, like, did you kill Charlie Kirk? And he's like, in the Middle Ages, people said Jews poisoned wells, and it's like, okay, so he's reverted back to his fallback. I don't know what you call it, impulse power, just like reset, just say a talking point, say an evergreen talking point that you have. But in that answer, he starts first by praising Donald Trump, beefing up Donald Trump's ego. Me forcing Trump's hand, he's too strong and handsome for anything to be forced in Trump. When Trump makes a decision, that's all him because he's so strong and powerful. And it's like, I really hope Trump is not falling for this crap. Here's Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Again, like, this is the crazy part. It is just completely incoherent, everything that they're saying. So Marco Rubio says, in no uncertain terms, Israel forced our hand. Then they spent the last 24 hours or so trying to walk that back and say, no, that's not the case. Actually, it's all different. He was misheard. I mean, I've got an article today, I think from Newsweek, but I mean, straight up, and Caroline Leavitt tweeted it out, White House spokeswoman, no, Rubio did not say Israel forced America's hands. Yes, they did, and then you keep repeating it. Here's Mike Johnson.
To me, the most critical point is that this was a defensive measure, a defensive operation. And why is that? I took some notes, and this is not classified, so I'll tell you what I think is important. Israel was determined to act in their own defense here, with or without American support. Why? Because Israel faced what they deemed to be an existential threat. Iran was building missiles at a radical and a rapid clip to the point where our allies in the region could not keep up. As you know, Iran has long vowed to take out Israel, wipe it off the map, and they have long seen that as a critical threat to their very existence. Because Israel was determined to act with or without the U.S., our commander-in-chief and the administration and the officials I just named had a very difficult decision to make. They had to evaluate the threats to the U.S., to our troops, to our installations, to our assets in the region and beyond. And they determined, because of the exquisite intelligence that we had, that if Israel fired upon Iran and took action against Iran to take out the missiles, then they would have immediately retaliated against U.S. personnel and assets. We have troops in harm's way, and we have many Americans in the region, and that was of a great concern. If we had waited for all of those eventualities to take place, the consequences of inaction on our part could have been devastating. We don't know at what magnitude, but you can.
I'm not sure if you need this explained to you. He just said exactly what Marco Rubio said. He just reiterated exactly what Rubio said, as if like them explaining it more is going to make it better. It's like, no, we understand. We understand. He's like, no, but see, Israel was going to attack Iran no matter what, and then Iran was going to attack us, so we had to like be prepared. And it's like, no, we get it. You don't need to explain that. It's something we don't understand. It's that you're admitting that Israel forced us to start a war with Iran. And that's the problem. What do you not understand about that? So that's Mike Johnson reiterating exactly what Marco Rubio said.
We've got to get to a point where we are self-sufficient again, Texas. And when it comes to health, also food, our food needs to be clean, number one. It just needs to be clean. And Florida has pointed out, put that back on screen, all these major brands have got hundreds of times the glyphosate you should have. Absolutely. Well, your doctor tells us that does. Oh, this is gonna change your brain. This is going to set you up. It erases your blood-brain barrier. Oh yeah. So it's really an accelerant or an adjuvant. Adds everything in there. It destroys the blood-brain barrier. So that's a protective thing that happens between the cerebral spinal fluid and your fluids inside the brain, and the things that attack it from the outside. Once that barrier is depleted, then it's subject to all kinds of heavy metals, things that get sprayed from the sky, right? Barium, aluminum, all these things that it protects you from. Methylene blue works. It does. It counters that. It's. Oh, let me ask you that. 45 minutes in, you feel it, Doc? Yeah, I feel pretty good. Be honest though, you got your own special brand. Is this good or what? No, this is the same effect I'm getting, but it feels right. Yeah, it feels right. Yeah, it's a little easier to take. Yeah, not easier. What do you mean compared to in the way it feels? Just going down, drinking. So this one tastes better, but it's as good as the one your doctor did. Yeah. Wow, so your doctor must have a good one. We'll see. We'll go down the road a little ways. I'll text you. Guys, get him a couple bottles of this. I need Doc Chambers endorsing this. I'm not getting it for free, but I'll definitely help. No, you're getting that. Free your blood. It's amazing.
Hey, this is Doc Chambers here. I'm out in the field right now. Day off from the campaign trail, doing some work. I got things to catch up on, so it's called a refit day. But I'm getting refit with Alex Jones's methylene blue. It's pretty good. I got to say, I've been using it on the road since we left the studios, and I've been taking it for a while. I had a traumatic brain injury in Iraq in 2004. There's a lot of studies out there that show that with post-dementia patients and TBI patients, just been used for years. It's just not very well known with regards to demyelination, what it can do to improve your cognition. So that's your brain housing these stuff. Hey, thanks, Alex. Appreciate you. We're going to stay on it.
This methylene blue, it is tremendous. I would not be making this video if I didn't believe in it. After I take it throughout the day, I start feeling better and better and better. My workouts, I feel like I'm 15 years younger than I am. And the app that I record my running on proves that my workouts are getting better. So I got to tell you what, God, family, country, InfoWars, and methylene blue. Get it while you can.
Powered by methylene blue, ultra methylene blue at thealexshowstore.com. We have the widest selection of Patriot apparel and some of the best designs. I set out with our sponsor, said, what do you want? I said, with the widest selection of t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, hats, you name it. I want classic Americana stuff, I want pro-Trump stuff, I want InfoWars stuff, I want comedy stuff, Christian, Crusader, pro-life, pro-Jesus, classic 1776 stuff, quality Leering Center, joke stuff, classic InfoWars gear. It's all there. I mean, just cool shirts saying, I love America with a German pointer on it. I mean, just good stuff. All sorts of resistance to tyrants is obedience to God Punisher shirts. I mean, there are some kick-ass stuff there. Look at that one, American Supply Co. I designed that bad baby. America, established 1776 Supply Company. Woo, I like it. TheAlexShowStore.com.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Welcome back, folks. This is War Room. I'm your host, Harrison Smith. So Marco Rubio just gave a follow-up answer where he denied answering what he answered yesterday. Because this is all embarrassing. But here's Marco Rubio like an hour ago, I guess trying to clarify his statement from yesterday, which we just played. And then we just played a statement from Mike Johnson, which reiterated exactly the same thing, that Israel is going to attack Iran, and we felt that we needed to attack Iran with them, because otherwise we would get attacked and we'd be like sitting ducks. Completely crazy that was been admitted multiple times by people in the administration and the head of Congress for the Republicans. But here's Marco Rubio saying what he said. That was totally what he
Why the fuck would I walk next to a goddamn veterinary clinic? These fucking bitches barking everybody. Why the fuck would I do that?
You asked me that. You threw that follow up, and I said no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program. That Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks. That decision had been made. The president systematically made a decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation, not the question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. If you're going to play these statements, you need to play the whole statement, not flip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
So I mean, they're scrambling. They're basically trying to change their answer retrospectively. But again, they've reiterated it multiple times. It's so weird that they're trying to claim that they're not. Like, I just don't even understand what the thinking is here. Let's go to, because Trump was asked about this as well. He had a completely different answer. Let's go to clip number 65 here. Trump says he may have forced Israel's hand. It wasn't Israel forcing his hand. No. It's the other way around. Israel. I mean, it's not like Israel wants to go to war with Iran or something. It's like they're like, no, Trump, please don't go to war with Iran. He's like, it's just, this is retarded. Let's go to clip 65 here.
Did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact.
Where were the documents, Jones?
So again, it's like, what are we talking about here? What are we doing here? I mean, they were negotiating. They absolutely were negotiating with us. And in the middle of negotiations, we started this attack just like we did last time. I mean, again, it's just, it's such a joke almost. Like, this is just such a giant joke because it's just so obvious what's really happening. Okay. Trump went to war with Iran for Israel. No explanation, no justification.
Can I walk my
no
dogs?
attempt to frame this as being good for America.
Can I walk my dogs?
And at the end of the day, I don't know, because Israel's not even doing too hot after this. I mean, they bombed the hell out of Tel Aviv yesterday. Iran just
They're supposed to be on the
bombarded Tel
leash
Aviv.
anyway,
They
right?
very much are not able to rely on the Iron Dome at all.
Motherfucker was just in
Well, let's
my
go
blind
to
spot.
clip number 9 here, because again, got to give it to the Democrats, even though, you know, they may just be doing this for purely political purposes because they don't like Trump and they'll oppose whatever he does. But I don't know. I'm going to praise Elizabeth Warren now. That's what I'm going to do. Here's Elizabeth Warren talking about Trump's national defense strategy, clip number 9.
So you think America first means starting nuclear anytime? You know, I'm confused because you're here to discuss the Trump administration's national defense strategy, and I'll quote it back to you. No longer will the department be distracted by interventionism, endless wars, regime change, and nation building. Close quote. Interventionism, that means going to another country and bombing them. Endless wars, wars that may last, we don't know how long because there's no clear end point. Regime change, which the president has said this is all about, and nation building. Evidently, the president seems to think he's going to come in and build a different Iran. Now, is that
Senator,
putting America first and following your own
I think I would
policy
characterize it fundamentally
objectives?
differently. The defense strategy does talk about the threat posed by Iran and the need to have credible military options. And I don't think this is, as we understand from him and in the goals of the military campaign, this is certainly not nation building. This is not going to be endless, as the president.
So
the vice
this is
president-
not in your mind interventionism?
I don't think this is, no, I don't think that's what that nation building, endless wars, that's definitely
Interventionism, that's
not.
actually the very first word in the Department of
And
Defense.
interventionism is a more, I would say, kind of responsibility to protect or something. It's obviously not.
Really? And we
precisely
didn't do
defined.
this in order to try to protect Israel?
I think well, that's one of the goals. It's obviously we're
Oh, so
serving
it
our
is
own interests.
interventionism. And how about the endless war part?
Well, I don't think this
Is
is going to
there
be an endless.
is there a clear goal that we will know when this is over?
Well, the president's going to decide exactly how we do it. The military campaigns have clearly
Okay,
defined
and the
scope
regime
goals.
change part, remind me about that. The president, of course, has called it regime change. Do you disagree with him?
No, I think the president has said that this is an opportunity for the people of Iran to rise up and overthrow their oppressors. But
Yeah,
as
he
he
has
indicated,
called
the
on him to
Venezuela
do
model
that.
could
Does
be
that
one the
sound
other
like
day.
regime change?
I think the goals of the military, obviously, allowing the Iranian people to take this matter into their own hands is one of the options here. But the American military campaign is
Yeah,
got
so
more
that's
scope
great.
goals.
So the Trump
It's not an endless war.
administration first says it's going to be America first, then puts out a national defense strategy, and then goes to war alongside Israel illegally, unconstitutionally. And that is now the policy of the Trump administration. Say one thing in a campaign, write it down on paper, and then go do whatever the hell you want.
The time
That
of
is
the
wrong.
senator has.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Again, that's why I opposed what was happening in Venezuela, because it was exactly the same arguments being made then. Oh, well, it's an imminent threat because drug runners are bringing cocaine that will kill people in overdoses. And it's like, that is not an imminent threat at all. Yeah, I hate to say I told you so, but, when this was happening in Venezuela, we had a very clear chance to stand up and go, no. We like Trump, but he's not allowed just to start wars overseas on a whim with this vague and complicated connection to established precedent. It's ridiculous. John Brennan says this was a bad mistake, I'm sure. So, again, I think Elizabeth Warren is exactly right there. I think it makes absolutely no sense the way Trump is pursuing this legally and, with the way our government is supposed to work. This is just frankly illegal. And when it comes to nation building or regime toppling, it's like, I don't want a regime change war. But if you're going to have a war, there should be some sort of plan. There should be some sort of end game that you're going with. And regime change, as tricky as that might be, at least it's a conclusion. We don't even have that. And it doesn't mean that we're not trying to do regime change. It just means we haven't thought about it or planned it or put anything in place to guarantee that there would be some sort of changeover of leadership. What's much more likely to happen is you're going to have factionalism. And again, we've been laying this out for weeks every time we talk about the Iran war. it's obvious they're not trying to, they don't believe that, oh, they just have a bad leader. If we replace them, the Iranians will love us now. No, they want to destroy Iran totally and leave it as a fractured mess of, interfactional conflict for the rest of time. But again, it's hard to even lay out like what the reasoning is. Let me just read you some of what I have here, okay? So the White House outlined its objectives in Operation APAC Fury. It's Epic Fury, but people are calling it Operation APAC Fury. Official statement emphasized this is not a war, but a, quote, major combat operation. The stated objectives are the demilitarization of Iran, destruction of its missile forces, production facilities and naval fleet, elimination of the terrorist regime, protection of the United States from current and future threats, ensuring that Iran does not possess nuclear weapons. Again, okay, so how are we going to do any, let alone all of those things? I guess we've taken out their Navy already. But this was what was put out basically by the White House to the Republicans to say, here's how you answer these questions. If they ask, like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we doing this? These are the statements that are provided. Again, nothing about helping the people of Iran, nothing about, they do say, replace their regime or ensure their regime's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region. So that would be regime change, but it's not regime change, but we do need a new regime. Again, completely ridiculous. This is the story from the National Review. No, it says, Marco Rubio did not claim Israel dragged Donald Trump into a war. But he did, though. He did. They say Rubio made two main points. One was about the purpose of the war against Iran, which he said was to eliminate Iran's ballistic missile threat, attack drones, and the threat its Navy poses to global shipping. He then said, the second question I've been asked is why now? In answering this question, he said, quote, we knew there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that would precipitate an attack on American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties. Again, they try to claim that this was out of context, but it's not. No, that is the context. And he answered it truthfully. It's just embarrassing to admit that you're all literal traitors who should be tried and convicted for sedition, treason, working for a foreign power, having taken an oath to support America. In any reasonable situation, everybody involved in this debacle would actually be hung for treason. Do you understand that? That when you have one country and its leadership working secretly, clandestinely on behalf of another country and getting the first country into war for the sake of that second country, that's treason. That's treason. That's sedition. These people should all be in jail as far as I'm concerned. That's just how it is. Trump, Rubio, I'm not even joking. This is treason. There should be treason trials. And as part of the treason trials, as part of the necessary, obviously far overdue expulsion of these treasonous characters, we need to ban all dual citizens in government, completely extricate any influence Israel has, ban AIPAC, forget forcing them to register under FARA. No, they should be banned outright. And the American government should use its capabilities to find out, who's involved with those things and, charge them with crimes, because we're in it now. It's not like this is something that they did and it could be like, oh, we got caught or it didn't go that well and we just back off and, no harm, no foul. No, there's been harm. There already has been harm. People have already died from this. American servicemen have lost their lives, families, be eating Thanksgiving dinner with an empty chair this year because of these people doing this. And that's the smallest amount of damage this could do. This could literally lead to World War III. And these people did this literally at the behest of and for the sake of Israel. And that's not our country. So these are treasonous actors. We've been betrayed. Okay? Just making that perfectly clear. All right. So yeah, I understand why they are embarrassed that he admitted that. You probably shouldn't have admitted that, but you did. And it's obvious that it's true. And it gets crazier, folks. It gets even crazier because then the excuse that they're giving to the soldiers that they're deploying is apparently a religious reason. From the Cradle, U.S. troops report commanders are framing the Iran war as, quote, God's plan. As first reported by independent journalist Jonathan Larson, a U.S. combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers that the war on Iran was part of, quote, God's divine plan, allegedly claiming that President Donald Trump was, quote, appointed by Jesus, allegedly to ignite Armageddon. So Donald Trump has been appointed by... So, yeah, we're deploying to Iran, boys. Don't worry. This is all part of God's divine plan. Donald Trump's been anointed by Jesus to start the apocalypse. So gear up. Let's go. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? The complaint filed with the Military Religious Freedom Foundation is one of more than 110 logged within 48 hours from over 40 units across at least 30 installations. Complaints, including Christians, a Muslim, and a Jew, have requested anonymity to avoid retaliation. The Pentagon is yet to respond. According to MRFF President Mikey Weinstein, service members report unrestricted euphoria among segments of the chain of command, portraying the assault on Iran as biblically sanctioned and tied to end-time prophecies in the book of Revelation. One NCO wrote that such rhetoric is eroding morale and violating constitutional oaths, particularly for troops in ready support status who could be deployed at any moment. The controversy unfolds as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth expands overt evangelical programming within the Pentagon, including prayer sessions and Bible studies aligned with staunch pro-Israel theology. Weinstein reports that many U.S. commanders appear particularly enthused by the prospect of intensely violent confrontation, emphasizing how much bloodshed they believe necessary to align events with a fundamentalist Christian end times narrative. Folks, the entire world is being held hostage by an apocalyptic death cult. They control Israel and they control America, and they are using Israel to control America and to drive us into apocalyptic, like World War III, end of the world level conflict to fulfill their particular and, in my opinion, deeply flawed interpretation of the Bible. And, you know, this is very odd. Like, this is a very well understood scheme, a plan, an operation by Israel to pay millions and millions of dollars to thousands and thousands of evangelical church leaders to take over evangelical organizations, to bend and warp that religion and the celebration of Christianity in America to their particular geopolitical designs. And if you fall for it, frankly, you're an idiot. Like, I cannot believe how flagrant this, like, ultimate sin is, right? And there's debate, but, you know, one belief is that the only unforgivable sin in the Bible that the Bible lists out is basically using God's name in vain, by which they mean justifying your actions as if you're operating for God, right? To say, well, we have to do this because Jesus says so. Not in terms of, like, loving your neighbors, but going to war with Iran. Why? Because Jesus commands it. And if you're not for war with Iran, you're a sinner. You're the devil. You're a Satanist. It's like, yeah, that's what they're doing. So I can't understand how a Christian could not, or could, like, be okay with or not notice the fact that your religion is being infiltrated and manipulated and taken advantage of for purely material and unrighteous and frankly evil causes. But obviously it's had a profound effect. And again, I don't even recognize this as Christian. In my opinion, this isn't Christian. This is some sort of weird Judeo, I don't even know what. Like, it is more Jewish than Christian by a long shot, considering the fact that Christians believe that our Messiah already came. It was Jesus Christ. And yet all of this apocalyptic, end of the world, great battle discussion is all about bringing the Messiah forward. So it's not like, I don't know, they're using Christianity as a cloak to hide this under, but in reality, this is just pure, like, fundamentalist Jewish extremism that's just, like, dictating our foreign policy at this point. And I wouldn't be okay with that either. And in fact, it's just obviously completely against the law, like a flagrant and horrifying violation of the First Amendment. We don't have a church religion. We don't have a church of state. We don't have a national religion. And yet we're going to war on the basis of this narrow interpretation of apocalyptic in time, sort of like Revelations literature. This is crazy. It just is beyond crazy. But don't try to argue against it. But don't for a single second think that if you are a serviceman, you'll be able to, express your opinion about this. Now, apparently we couldn't do anything when the seditious six basically told our men in uniform to disobey their orders. It wasn't the right way to approach it.
It's not worth it.
At the time, same time, I think, regardless, nothing was done to them. Obviously, some of them were still like technically under the purview of the military justice courts, but nothing was done to them. But apparently, servicemen are now being kicked out of the army for criticizing Israel. Do this video: 20-year servicemen in our armed forces are being removed for criticizing Israel. You have that video, guys? Well, we'll bring it in and show it. Sorry, we're having a lot of technical difficulties. You'll probably notice, like, our videos, there's something going on with our computer, so we're working rapidly behind the scene to fix it. So we'll have to bring that video in just a little bit. Let's go to clip, this is it, clip 38. If we can go to clip 38, this is the serviceman talking about, he's been in the Army for 20 years, but it's just been removed. Let's watch.
So after 20 years of service in the military, yesterday I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for a post that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people. Yes, you heard that right. I am deemed a threat to national security because I don't support Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people. Since when does not supporting a foreign nation get a U.S. soldier investigated for being a threat to national security?
So there you go. A U.S. Army soldier investigated for criticizing a foreign state. The American military is now being subjected to thought crime interrogations over their support of Israel. You can be a communist. You can be anti-American, and they won't kick you.
Forgot I was live. We're about to start killing these fucking kikes, bitch. Fuck Israelis. Fuck Israel. Fuck their government. Fuck, they're Satanists. They're fucking posing as Jewish people, and they're not. I'm here to set them the fuck straight. Write my name in as governor for Kansas so we can get the fuck to work. Oh, my phone's connecting to this other internet. I see. Just as soon as I pause it, huh? Well. If I don't hang me a fucking Satanist, whether they're a fucking Israeli agent kike or a fucking Islamic extremist sand nigger, I'm going to do something to help my country. I'm tired of Americans getting slandered by fucking aliens and foreigners. You can suck my dick, world traders, globalists. I'm here to fuck you. I was born to fuck you, bitch.
Kick you out of the army. But if you oppose Israel, and specifically if you oppose the, apocalyptic death cult, your Jewish supremacist, extremist interpretation of the world, and say, not only do I not like Israel, I also don't want to go die in a giant apocalyptic conflagration to bring about the end times that the Antichrist can come about. It's like, well, you can't be in the army anymore. It's like, this is the issue. This is the issue. We have to get rid of Israel. We have to separate ourselves completely from Israel in every aspect of our government. We have to do it.
Yeah, get them the fuck out of my military now, before there's some bad fucking consequences for whoever the fuck thinks they're running this show, bitch.
Rapidly. Beyond absurd.
As War's not delivered. In Gladiator, he chops up the first 4 guys when they throw him in the ring or in the arena, and he says, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?" Well, I would say to you, are you not satisfied? Have we not delivered in the fight against the globalists? You bet on the.
Even if you're not in Kansas, write my name in for governor of your state. When we win the popular vote, we take our capital.
Right, works with masking continue to bet on us as the until war continues on, regardless that we refuse to submit to tyrants. But the reason this is such a win-win or a non-zero sum game or a 360.
We don't let them Jan 6 us. We take our fucking capital when we win our election.
When the termite coined over a decade ago,
it's time to fuck the riggers.
Because everybody participating supports freedom, supports the fight against tyrants, the fight for team humanity against the globalists, and you get incredible products at the same time. If you haven't tried ultramethylene blue, or our bovine colostrum, or our CMOS, or our Shilajit, these are all incredible products available right now at thealexjonesstore.com. And if you're going to buy anything on the site, you can become a VIP $30 a month, canceling time for free, and instantly $40.
That's who's been running our elections. When you mix the word retard and the word nigger, you get rigor. That's who the fuck's been running our elections.
In your account, the second you click a VIP, when it recurs each month, instantly $40.
Guess what the fuck we're gonna cause to set into their bodies? Rigor.
Goes in, so you make $2 to spend on top of the 30 you spend, special deals, special offers, and with one click of your profile, you cancel anytime for free. So it's a very light commitment, and you get special deals on everything else. So anybody buying anything on thealexjonesstore.com should be a VIP, so make sure you do that. You have until the 17th of March to take advantage of the March mega sale.
Our elections? Rigor fucking mortis, bitch. You better change that shit to paper ballots hand counted on election day with ID only, motherfucker. Maybe disabled people can get a mail-in ballot. You better change the fucking show.
TheAlexJonesStore.com. This is one of the biggest sales of the year yet. Up to 40% off store-wide. 25% off on the shirts, on the hats. 10% off on things.
You don't change our fucking elections to paper ballots hand counted on election day with ID. Rigor fucking Morris is about to sit in, bitch.
It's like the collectible knives and up to 40% off.
Disconnect my ballot from the internet now. Disconnect my fucking vote from the internet, bitch, or you're gonna fucking die.
Supplements like ultramethylene blue, and the more you buy, the more you save. So take advantage of the March mega sale right now, running until the 17th at thealexjonesstore.com, and be the reason we'll always stay on the air. Gonna salute you and thank you. Take action now.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Nigger riggers out of my boat.
Welcome back, folks. Second hour of War Room is on. I'm your host, Harrison Smith. We're going to be joined in the next segment by my Moonbase Live co-host, Lebanon John. He's going to give us an update as to what is unfolding in Lebanon, as that has become a very important front in this war. We were covering in the last segment this story. U.S. troops were told Iran war is Armageddon and the return of Jesus. This is from jonathanlarson.substack.com. And I just want to note that this wasn't a one-off. This wasn't one particular, religious extremist, evangelical, CO that's telling his troops, like, we're involved in something, significant here. No. They actually found over 100 complaints from something like 40 different military installations, meaning that this was like a memo that went out. This was like an organized, choreographed thing. They sent out a message to their leadership saying, hey, tell your troops that this is why we're going to fight. Because, we have to start the end of the world so we can build the third temple and usher in the Antichrist, and then all of the non-Jews can be the slaves of the Jews. Aren't you excited for that? Aren't you so excited to be a part of this wonderful transformation into hell on earth? Meanwhile, a 2009 white paper from America suggests using failed...
Somebody send me $30 for methylene blue so I can be in a much better mood.
Talks as a scapegoat for Iran regime change war. A think tank analysis document from 2009 outlined how the U.S. or Israel could launch a regime change war on Iran under the guise of negotiations, using the cover of failed diplomacy to curry public favor for an otherwise unpopular conflict. That was a white paper called Which Path to Persia. This story can be found at Infowars.com, which sort of explains a lot, because when it comes to Iran, they say they don't know why the negotiations failed, that basically we were in the middle of negotiations and we decided to start attacking them. Iran's foreign minister said he's unsure why U.S. attacked during nuclear talks. Here's the foreign minister of Iran.
Is a negotiated settlement with the United States still possible?
Well, you answered this question. We negotiated with the United States twice in the past 12 months, and in both cases, they attacked us in the middle of negotiation. And that has become a very bitter experience for us. In last June, we were negotiating. We had 5 rounds of negotiations, and we had already fixed the 6th round for 15 June when the Israeli attacked us, and then the US joined the attack. And this time, we had 3 rounds. Last Thursday, we had a very good discussion, very good talks in Geneva. Both Iranian and the US delegation were happy at the end of 7 hours of negotiations. And I can go into the details of what we agreed and how a deal was at our reach. And when we concluded, the Omani foreign minister, who was the impartial intermediator between us, he concluded by saying in his post that we made significant progress this time. We were able to come to a good understanding on some of our differences. Some other differences were left for the next meeting, and we decided to go for Vienna, to send our technical teams to Vienna on Monday, which means tomorrow, to go to the IAEA, and with the help of the International Atomic Energy.
You better get the fucking foreign nation out of my military and out of my fucking government. It's time to get all these fucking foreign nations out of our government. Vote for me. Write my name in as governor. Particularly in Kansas, but write it in for whatever state you happen to be in. Rumble and YouTube won't ever show this to anybody because they're an enemy of my great grand nation. Help me take it back.